since power has shifted away from Europe very clearly, it's Europe's resistance to change in international organizations that has become, in some ways, the biggest problem in terms of adapting to a new world. And just to give you, let me illustrate that point with two examples. The first is, of course, in theory, the world's most powerful international economic organization, which is the IMF. And it's interesting that if you go to the IMF website, and my research assistants found this, and this is what the IMF website says. In the IMF's own fact sheet on how it makes decisions, it claims that, quote, voting power and decision-making at the IMF reflect its member countries' relative economic position. So it's very clear that the IMF honestly admits that voting structure must reflect the new economic balance of power in the world. Now, I already told you that the EU and China's share today of global GNP is about the same, at 17%. And therefore, the IMF voting share of the EU should be 17%, and the IMF voting share of China should be 17%. Guess what the numbers are? The Europe share of IMF voting structure is 26% instead of 17%, and China's share is 6% instead of 17%. So even though the IMF website says clearly voting shares reflect a country's share of global economic power, that's not shown.